Hello everyone, Alex the RC Freak here, coming at you with a video of my E-Revo brushless edition, 10 scale. So, some people say this is 8 scale. From what the factory says on this vehicle when it came out, it's a 10 scale chassis. So if people are saying this is an 8 scale, you are wrong. It will fit 8 scale bodies on it. Yes, but technically from what the factory says, it's a 10 scale vehicle. At least that's what it was, because this isn't the brand newest E-Revo brushless, but they're pretty much all the same. Really nothing has changed on them. So this has the stock motor on it, the real Castle Creations Mamba Monster 2 speed control, because the original Traxxas one, as always, their electronics always crap out. So I went and got the Mamba Monster 2, which I love that ESC. You can rely on it, unlike Traxxas electronics. But I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just saying I like Traxxas vehicles. Their electronics suck. I'm just going to say that straight off the bat, in my opinion. But yeah, I got all kinds of upgrades on this thing. German engineering, 17mm wheel hexes. Always check these. This is an 8mm nut, and then you got the 17mm nut. Always make sure you tighten that every run. You know, I put Loctite on it, of course, on both, but make sure you tighten these and the outside one. That's just kind of a habit I've gotten into with this. I got the Duratrax 6-pack MT tires. I love these tires. They grip. For jumping, these tires are kind of hard to jump with just because they're kind of heavy, so I need to adjust the brakes on this truck because I have it set pretty high. I have like 70% brake, and so it's a little like, I guess, firm, I guess you could say. So when you're up in the air and you jump it, you know, you jump it, and then the front end will tip down like that, and you'll flip over most of the time. I haven't driven this truck in a while. This used to be my go-to truck. I love this truck. This is like my powerhouse, you know, smaller electric brushless rig. This thing, it's fast, it's sleek looking. I have the Proline split stream body on there, and it's just I think it's a good looking body. I just think it's a cool looking truck too. I mean, it kind of looks truggiest, but it's a monster truck. And I personally like this lime green pearl that I do. That's kind of what I do on my own bodies. It's custom color I do, and I did a silver pearl on there. You might be able to see a little bit of it on there. That pearl. I did these flames myself by hand. See how they're nice and sharp. This is one of my pet peeves about flames, is when people do them and they do them all fat and they don't look good. You got to have them flow, you know. And these ain't exactly perfect, but to my liking. But I mean, I can do a lot better on paper and stuff. But see how they're nice and sharp on those ends there? See how they're nice and sharp? That's how a flame should be. So anyone that does flames like this style, make sure they're sharp, and then this is not too fat. Because a lot of people that think they know how to do flames, they don't. And that is my opinion, and I'll say that straight up. Because that's one of the biggest things that irritate me, especially people that have like classic hot rod cars, and they got screwed, I'll say it, by the painter that didn't know what the hell he was doing, and painted crappy ass flames on a nice car, and it just makes the paint job, in my opinion, look like shit. My opinion. But if you have nice sharp flames, like right here, didn't really turn out exactly perfect. I didn't get a good enough coverage there. I was too late by the time I painted the next coat. So, which is no big deal. I mean, it's a good looking truck, I think. I mean, that's the side of it right there. But I mean, these tires grip. I will tell you, these tires grip anything. They are heavy tires though. They're not like insanely heavy to where it's like you're gonna blow out wheel bearing, hub bearings, you know, stuff like that. But they are heavy. And this truck, I have a Robson Racing spur gear, stainless steel screw kit. I mean, I got the aluminum red push rods, the hardened steel hot racing ring and pinion gears, the stock internal differential spider gears. I got the J Concepts wing on the back. Just put that on there. Let's take off this body. And this is, I got the silver springs up front here. See the little silver there? And then I got the blue ones in the back. So this is the stiffest I can get. I had to get these aluminum shock caps because before I got my X-Max or any other rig, I kept blowing out these shock caps, breaking them right there where the little ball stud goes in. So I got aluminum ones to solve that problem. I kept busting these off for a while too, and I don't know what happened there, but I solved that problem too. Got an aluminum Integy spur gear cover, the cooling fan, which does need it. It still works, but the top part's all busted off. Like I say, I ran this rig really hard back in the day. I don't drive it much anymore ever since I got my X-Max, but because I love the X-Max. I don't know why. I love that thing. And don't get me wrong, this thing is stupid fast, and the throttle response on the trigger is just like hair sensitive. Like, you just barely pull the trigger on this thing, and it'll practically do a backflip. Like, not even kidding. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome rig. It has German engineering motor mount, rear motor mount, which I love, because see how it's braced on the back, so it really braced that motor in there good. This has an active vehicle control ESC from not ESC, I apologize, receiver from Spectrum, and using this with my DX6R, which, by the way, I love that radio. It does have tons of adjustability. I'm still learning it myself. The first time I used the radio to actually drive one of my RCs is in this rig, and you can look up anything on the internet that you want. You can watch YouTube, you can do anything a smartphone can do. You just can't call people or take pictures with it, but I can swap pictures from my Android smartphone and send them to the radio, any picture I take. I can swap videos and stuff and send them to my radio. I can swap my setup for this, like for example, let's say I use this as a racing and truggy class, and let's say I had this thing dialed in to where it's really nice on the speed control here, and it just works smooth. I can dial it, I can send that to someone else with the same radio, the setup, so they can have a good start if I wanted to. So that I just think that's a really awesome feature, and there's tons more features on it. 250 model memory, which is insane. I mean, if you have that many RC cars, you need to check yourself into rehab for RC cars if they have something like that. But you know, I don't know. I love the radio. It works great. I got a Savox servo in there, the 1232. So it's a great servo. It works good. I did a single servo conversion. I had dual servos. One of them kind of died on me, so I just went to one. I got the titanium nitrate coated shock shafts on there, and I'm running 50 weight shock oil all four corners. I'm running 100K diff fluid all four corners, or 100K diff fluid front and rear. I apologize for that. There's no center diff in this transmission. I hate center diffs. I got the sway bar kit on it with the nice, upgraded aluminum front links. There's a sway bar kit in the back. I will say one thing about this truck that I cannot stand. I can't even count the times I've replaced the diffs in this thing. I've blown out front diffs. I've blown out rear diffs. I went and got silly putty from Rite Aid locally here where I live, which is Spokane, and put in the center not in the center differential, the spider gears inside the differential cup in the rear. I filled that with silly putty. And this happened yesterday. I was going to do a video, but this ended up breaking because this thing's a powerhouse. I got the 100% set forward, 100% reverse. I have 45% punch control on this ESC currently right now, and the 750 millisecond throttle dead band. So it's super responsive, and I personally like that setup a lot. On 70% on the brake, and no drag brake, and this thing, it's stupid fast. And I will say, I have the Hot Racing aluminum diff cups, the Hot Racing diff housings. There's tons of upgrades on this thing. It's ridiculous the amount of money. RPM front bumper mount, RPM front bumper and rear bumper. the Proline body post kit, RPM arms all the way around with True Track in the back. I like the True Track. It really is awesome. I had RPM without the True Track in the back, and it worked good. Don't get me wrong. I just, to keep this link rate back here from loosening on the stock Revo, get the True Track. They work awesome. They don't give you any problems that I've experienced. I got the long travel rockers on it. Stock transmission gears, which are plastic. I didn't put any metal in there. I got the RPM turnbuckles right in there. I got the MIP CVDs. I do not have the MIP center CVDs. I have the Traxxas center CVDs. The only thing I can say about this truck is the Traxxas steel CVDs suck. They're garbage. Their little upgrade kit thing they have for the 10 scale E-Revo brushless edition, they're trash. Don't waste your money on them, because I had those on my rig, and I can't even tell you the time I broke this shaft right here. On the Traxxas version, this is one shaft. It's not like the MIPs where they kind of interlock. I broke this shaft at least, I'm not kidding, at least 25 times, and that's not exaggerating at all. I bent them I probably bent at least 15 of them, and I'm not kidding. I drove the crap out of this truck. I mean, I'm not doing stupid bashing to where you're jumping over houses and stuff, but I mean, I had fun with it, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't stupid to the point where you land, jump on the throttle and mess up stuff that way. It's just they're really crappy design metal. So I got the MIPs, and they work great. They're awesome, they're tough. This happened yesterday, right here, in the middle of me trying to make a video for you guys. That little part right in there, that's the part of the internal differential spider gears. So that snapped off. So I drove the truck back because I went on a hike with it, and there's a big dirt bike jumping area, and I was jumping it just like a couple jumps, nothing huge. I only got maybe like 3 feet of air maybe, so it wasn't like anything huge. But yeah, that snapped off, taking off from a jump. So it still drove back just fine, though. I just kind of, easily drove it back. I didn't romp on it. It would still pop wheelies, as funny as it sounds, because it's basically a locked diff in the back. But yeah, I mean, none of these pins for the MIPs broke, and a lot of people say these pins right there, that little round pin, will break on the MIP, or these little round balls will break. I've never experienced that myself. The one thing I do not like about the X-Duty MIP CVDs is these grub screws. Their new grub screw design. It's 2 grub screws you have to stick in there, right there. There's 2 of them, right there, and then 1 right there. And what I don't like is that they're grub screws. It's not like one big long shoulder screw, like kind of how the factory ones are. So, like here's the bottom. I dyed the chassis and all the plastic black on it. I gotta take this off because that broke, on the rear diff there. So you got the axle hanging down there. And that's how I drove back. But see, you can see the aluminum diff cup. I don't know how well, but yeah, see how it's broke off right there? Right in there. Right in there. Right there. Yeah, see? It's broke off. But yeah, I mean, it's a great truck. I mean, I love this truck. The differentials are garbage. And the internal spider gear differentials, to my knowledge, I haven't recently looked. I don't think they make a hardened set of center ones. They like internal spider gears. So they may. I haven't really looked too much into it. So I might do that. I got tons of extra parts for this truck. Literally, I got enough extra parts for this thing to practically build another truck. I just need a chassis. That's all I need. And then this thing would literally, I'd have a second truck, easy. Probably a second or a third truck. But I love these wheel rim styles. I mean, I think Duratrax kicked it out of the park. I have not had the hexes strip out of the 17mm wheels. The 12mm wheels from Duratrax, they will strip out with a 10 scale brushless system. Like 4600 kV or higher, you will strip them out eventually. I don't care if you just drive on street. I don't care if you take off easy and then go real fast. You will strip them out. These ones have been great. So just keep that in mind. The Duratrax 12mm hex wheels suck. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you guys, because I don't feel the need to lie, because this hobby is expensive enough. And like, I buy all my own stuff with my own hard-earned money. So I'm not sponsored in any way. No one's paying me to say nice things about their RC products. I just want to give you a real world reviews. So this truck is an awesome truck. I just upgraded it. It didn't need as many upgrades as I put on it. I just love, and I know I'm forgetting stuff that I did to this thing, but I just love this truck in the Revo sense because I love the suspension. I mean, the articulation's awesome, and it just soaks up bumps and everything. And they're a good looking truck. I mean, look at that thing with the fin on it. I mean, and this body, this split stream body. I don't think they make this body anymore. You may be able to find it online, maybe. I don't know, but I had this one lying around for a while clear, and I finally ended up painting it, and I really this is just going to be a show body, because I really like it how it turned out myself. I think it turns out really pretty, and you know, I love Traxxas vehicles. I don't know why, I like their vehicles. I used to be a Team Associated guy, and they make awesome vehicles too. I will say that I love Team Associated rigs. They're awesome. If you're more of the kind of guy that's you really want to race and that's what you want to do, then Team Associated, like a Truggy Electric, if you're into electrics, or you know, Nitro, they are an awesome racing vehicle. These things can race very well. These tires, I would get a different set of tires. Are a lot lighter, so it's a little easier to control up in the air, but they're an awesome thing, you know, to race too. I have raced this truck back then, and it did pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. And that was with the Nitro Truggy class. I raced this thing at my local track. This body right here, I got a black one. It's just all gloss black. And I actually call this truck the Black Knight, is what I call it. But it got the green body on it now, so that's not really gonna fit anymore. But yeah, it's an awesome truck. You know, I got an outerwears cover thing for it. The Robson Racing Gen 3 spur gear, which is an awesome setup because it has the bigger, heavier duty slipper pads on it. And I don't crank them tight on my slipper gear. I get it tight, and then I back it off like 1/8 of a turn. That's it. I don't go a quarter turn or half turn, which you can do, but I don't like them being loose because eventually if you're like me, I like to go on hikes and long walks with my RCs sometimes, and if that happens to come loose and it starts slipping on you, it just ruins the day, to me. But honestly, this truck is an awesome truck. It's a good looking truck. If you want a brushless monster truck, you know, or even if you have the brush version and you know, you want to save a couple bucks when you first get started into it, that's awesome. You can always upgrade. That's the beauty of this hobby. You can always upgrade it to unique to your personal liking, and that's what I think is so cool about this hobby, is that you can just make them unique. And don't get the Traxxas CVDs. They suck. They're garbage. They're a waste of money. Spend a little extra money, and they are a little bit more expensive, and buy the MIP CVDs for this X Duty for the Revo. Work awesome. Stock up on differentials. Internal spider gears on the differentials. Stock up on them because you will have problems with them. If you have differentials front and if you have differentials rear, the actual differential where you put silicone diff fluid in them and the diff cup, you will mess up your differentials on this truck. And that's just kind of what's going to happen with this truck. I will say that I don't know why the diffs aren't very strong. That's the one thing I hate. I can't even count the times I've replaced it. The diffs in this truck. Like, literally, I cannot count the times. Oh, and then if you jump it hard enough, I've cracked the front bulkhead right along here, right in there. So that's the two biggest things I've had a problem with. I've never cracked the chassis, and I've beat the shit out of this thing. I'll say it. I beat the snot out of it. But it's a tough truck, nonetheless. I mean, if you put a couple upgrades in there, if you're one of those people that don't mind making your RC vehicles unique to your personal liking, then they're an awesome truck. You can put a little bit of money into them and make them awesome. Like I did that with this, and this thing is a tank. This happened with the diff, you know, this thing breaking or whatever. But you know, I got the extra parts. There's no cost to me. I literally got a huge thing, a 16 quart bin full, I mean plumb full of parts, packed full of parts for this thing. So, but thank you for watching my video, and Alex RC Freak out. Peace.